Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I want to do just some quick weighting. Okay, I'll spend some time later on doing some more immaculate weighting. But let's just go and grab, say, the pants. And I'm going to make sure that I'm in kind of a default position here for my skeleton. One thing I like to do is go in here and set preferred angle on everything. And I did that on the root joint. I just right-clicked and I hit that. And remember, you can do weighting at any time. Okay, so you can just put a rough one in and then go back and tweak it later on. And I'm going to go into the rigging section. And here under skin, bind skin, I'm going to choose joint hierarchy. When I go down here a bit further, there's something that says maximum influences. I can turn this down to, say, 3. It's either going to be 2 or 3, I find best. The drop-off rate of 4 works really well for something like the torso area. I find it kind of gives it a doughy quality. So maybe I'll just do that right away, and I'll hit apply, so that's bound. The pants, remember when I grab the pants here, I can grab any joint on this because it's going to do the whole hierarchy, right? If I wanted selected joints, I could go in there and select the joints that I wanted to assign it to, but I'm just doing that because it'll be fast. And this time I'm going to bring the weighting up. The drop-off rate, 7, 8, something like that. That should be good. When I hit apply, you'll see that when I grab the knees, that gives me an actually decent result really, really quickly. Okay, I'm not going to have to do a lot of weighting on that when I take the legs and I move them. Okay, we have to do some weighting in the crotch. That looks weird. But still, things aren't too bad. I'll take the shoes, do the same thing, use a strong drop-off rate. The arms, I might even go just a little bit stronger with the arms. Yeah, because I noticed they work, particularly the fingers, work really well with a higher drop-off rate. And the head here, let's just go in. I'm going to bring that back down again to like 4-ish. Okay, so the drop-off rate, what it does is it kind of gives you a softer weighting initially if you have it lower, and a harder weighting, so you'll find more rigid weighting for things like elbows and stuff, but for torsos where it's kind of a little bit softer, you want lower value. Don't go below 4. 4 is a default value and works really well for the torso. I sometimes find it hard to weight things softly, and it's easier to weight things more rigidly. So I'll accept the soft value of 4, and then I'll weight it so that things are more rigid. Okay, and that should be good. And if I got a teeth and tongue, I should probably just bind them to one joint and do selected joints. But I'm going to say that's good for now. And let's just check out some weighting. Let's go and grab my feet. Typically when I'm weighting, let's close this. What I notice is I work from the feet up to the hips. I stop. I'll do the arms all the way in to the shoulder. I'll stop, and then I'll do the head all the way down here to stop. Or I can do the head kind of down to here and stop, and then do the arm, and then go down and stop. So the trick is when you're weighting, start at the lowest end of the hierarchies. So the tip of the toes, top of the head, ends of the fingers, in, and then down to the root. Okay, and so the first thing for weighting, let's just look at these feet. Oh, there's a lot of geometry on these. Okay, that's good. Let's just see what it looks like when I do this. That's pretty good right away. Okay, but it is affecting a lot of area here. Let's just check out this one. And that one's doing pretty good too. But here, let's go and take this. I'm going to go to Paint Skin Weights tool. And what do I notice I like? Right away, I like to use add or smooth. Remember, smooth is the devil. Typically, you want to use add first, and then you go to use smooth afterwards. And I usually save everything after I've kind of tweaked it and used smooth. And so you can see right now, when I select this geometry, these are all of the potential joints that are affecting the geometry. Left knee, ankle, ball, toe. The toe really doesn't do anything, so I'm going to go here to the ball, and maybe if I'm using add, let's make my brush a bit bigger. I'm just holding down B. I can paint it so it's a lot firmer. Okay, and I find these black and white values are okay, but I prefer putting on the gradient here, and then I can totally see what's going on. And I'll do something like that. And okay, making it like 100% on the tip of the toe, and then it's kind of blending here. You're seeing it's going from white into kind of a red, then yellow and orange, and then blue. I really don't want this joint affecting this ankle, but if I go in here and I right click on the joints too, I can go and select influence, and I find this a little bit faster than picking these names out and stuff and going up and down these hierarchies. But I'm going to go and use add, and I'll make sure that, yeah, you can see this is totally painting into place now, 100% white. Okay. And I'll quickly zip in here. Great. And maybe do a bit more. And then I kind of get to this point where I go, well, let's use the smooth and let's check it out. So smooth, let's go and select the ball here for a second. When I smooth it, it kind of brings a bit back in and it kind of blends it in. Okay, so smooth will give you this kind of, there, soft in these certain areas where I'm painting. And sometimes it's, like right now, it's acting really nicely. Sometimes it acts horribly. So now we can just check that out. I'm going to get off the tool here, go and get the rotate tool, grab my joints, and that's looking pretty good. I could probably make that a bit firmer down on the bottom. I don't mind it being a little bit soft on top, but maybe firmer on the bottom for the bend. And let's go back at the paint select tool, ball, and I'll go to the ankle. And I've got the smooth on. I'm going to switch to add. But yeah, sometimes when you're using the smooth, it will do exactly what you don't want it to do, and then it'll crash. It crashes a lot easier when you're on smooth. Okay, and I'm going to call that good, maybe right there. That looks kind of funny, so I'm going to hit smooth and blend that in. Okay, good, good, good. Okay. Okay, looks good. And so that's done, kind of. I'm just going to take the ankle. If I right-click, assume preferred angle, it goes back to the pose that it was in for the binding. Okay, that's another form of bind pose. If I take the shoes here, I've got them both connected. If I selected this one and that one, if they were separate, I could go in here to skin, and there's a feature called mirror skin weights across the YZ. Okay, great. And I just hit apply, whoop, or hit mirror, and that'll close the window. Now you see when I grab this joint and this joint at the same time, we got pretty much the same weighting on both of them. Okay, shoes done. Up to the pants here. Let's just see what that's doing here. That did a really nice job right away. Here, I'm just going to grab this, and I think the big problem is in the butt and the crotch. Everything else looks pretty decent right away. Oh, what's that on my toes? Ah, crap. That's cool. I noticed something funky. Let's go in here, and I'm going to do a quick trick with this one. Somehow I think I got weighting from the other side, and I wasn't paying attention. If I go in, I double-click, and I get the whole loop. So there's a problem with the loop here. I'm going to go to skin, and there's a thing called hammer skin weights. Boop. They're fixed. Fixed quickly. Okay. And next time I mirror that, when I get this back, like here, if I grab this and I go assume preferred angle, grab the shoes, and we'll do another one of those skin, mirror skin weights. Let's check that out now when I do this and I grab the rotate tool. Yeah, no funky behavior. Okay, everything's looking good. And let's go in here. And that just looks like some geometry is crashing into other geometry. It's kind of bothering me a little bit. I might come back and fix it later. Let's grab this and the paint tool. Remember, the paint tool, or the paint weights tool, also lives under skin, paint skin weights tool. Exactly the same thing. And what have I got? I'm going to right click on this joint, and for some reason it's not picking it up. There it is. Select influence. And I'm going to use add. Okay. And there you can totally start to see you can see that it's picking up a little bit here as kind of going and getting a bit more rigid. That kind of looks okay. Down here, I kind of don't mind it so squishy around the ankle because the ankle is going to push it around a little bit. So maybe I'll leave it like that. I might even go back and hit the smooth. And again, I'm doing this. Every time I'm doing this, I'm playing with the devil. Let's go to select influence. I missed. And I'll hit smooth and I'll kind of bring it back a little bit. A little bit of weighting into it. Okay, just a little bit, not too much. Okay, and let's go back to this one. Smooth. Okay, and we'll see how that does in there. That looks fine. Go up here to the hip. And I'm using smooth right now. Let's see how that affects this area there. Okay. And remember, like at any time, you can fix this. In the middle of an animation, you know the weighting's kind of funny, and fix it. And I might, I don't mind it so soft right here. But let's go back to add, and I'll add that into this joint. Okay, and trying to whip my way through this really, really quick. Okay, and what do we got here? This kind of becomes a little bit of a tricky area here because there actually should be one more joint in the butt to kind of accommodate the twisting of the hip, but I'm skipping over that this time because I'm hoping nobody starts doing weird ninja things with their characters, but you never can tell. Here, I'm going to take the pelvis joint and I'm going to flick to add, and we'll get this. Fix the crotch. Okay, later on I'm going to mirror this, but I just want to fix that because that just looks weird. Here. Okay, and weight that primarily so the pelvis joint is going to move butt around. Okay, and I'll call that good. Okay, and then I get to about here and I say let's go back and use the smooth. And again, I should be saving right now. I'm actually kind of hoping I crash in the middle of the demo so you can see this all firsthand and you know that I'm not lying to you. There's problems. Smooth. I might even, as I'm smoothing, what if I select that hip again? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's going to look better. It's going to blend in the hips area here. And that's going to pull back some of this weird stuff that's in the crotch. Just don't want it to move too much, but just enough. Okay. Okay, it's starting to act a bit funky right there. That's good. Because then I can show you more tricks. I kind of don't actually like the paint skin weights tool, to be completely honest. You can see, by the way, that this joint is affecting this area over here, too. That's a bit of a problem. But as I pull it here, as I'm smoothing it, it's actually kind of pulling over to the side here. So that's a problem, too. What I can do here is, what if I get this whole edge here, and I go and I do a little trick like, I hit it right the first time, vertices to vertices. So I got the vertices here. I might even go and grow the selection. And I'm going to go and hit it with the hammer again. Boop! And the hammer kind of blends it in. Actually, that's making me wonder. Let's go and see what that's doing over here. Smooth. If I go to the other hip, you're seeing it's picking it up over here. The knee is doing something with this here. Smooth. Actually, I'm just going to go back to the hip and I'm going to put this on add and get it back to the hip joint. Okay. Great. And then I'll go back to smooth and see if that blends in nicely. I'm on the right, I'm on the hip. Okay. And I'm going to call this good enough for now. I might come back to it later on. Okay, and let's just take this and I'm going to grab the pelvis and assume preferred angle, grab the jeans and go and hit skin, mirror skin weights. And then when I grab these and I check it out, do you get any weird behavior? Now there's a little bit of hip action here. Let's take that and I'm going to paint skin weights. I'm on the hip already. And maybe I'll do something like add. And I'm just going to turn down the opacity on this so it's a little bit more subtle and it isn't too abrupt as I add it in. And that didn't help one damn bit. Okay, so I'm going to go now, I'm going to go to smooth, see if smooth is my friend. And it's kind of acting a bit crunchy right here. Maybe if I go and I hit the pelvis and I smooth, that'll start to distribute some of this weight to the pelvis, and there, it's looking better. Okay, and I'm getting bored of this. Okay, and that should be good enough for that. I might even just do a quick isolate so I can see what's going on up here. This area up here should be primarily to the root, so let's go and add that. Okay, and I'll add that into the root, and then when I go back and I grab the smooth, I'll make the brush a bit smaller, and I'll smooth this out here. My opacity is low, but it should be okay. That's just taking it away a bit from the pelvis and blending it in, and that should give me something kind of nice. Something right there I don't like necessarily. Let's go to the pelvis and check that out. Smooth. Okay. And I'm going to call this good in a second. A little bit of movement here doesn't bug me, but it was that big weird volume that protruded down that was weird. Let's go and unisolate this. Let's just check out what happens when I grab my hip joints and I move them around a little bit. Okay, that's holding onto the crotch well. What if I grab this and oh, that's the root. Let's not do that. Let's grab the pelvis joint. And that gives me something that I can work with. A little bit rigid that's kind of popping through the shirt here, but we can do some weighting to the shirt and everything will be fine. Assume preferred angle. Okay. And I'll do the mirror skin weights again. Boop. Okay. And anything else? I'm going to stop there with the pants, and I'm going to whip over to, let's do the head. I'm going to do some tricks, because when we take the head and we go to Paint Skin Weights tool, and I go here and I select influence, you can see it's kind of yellow to begin with. This whole thing should be white. And if I go in, I'm going to do a trick before I do this. I'm going to zip into my UV editor. Why don't I guess I don't have that on the shelf here. Just going to put that on the shelf. Great. Book. There, and I'll go back to the rigging menus. And let's get rid of this thing. And oh, you can see I've got a problem. First off, my UVs aren't merged properly. If I just go in here and because it came from ZBrush, I didn't do that there. And I probably didn't arrange this in a good Udemy space, but whatever, I'll pretend that's good. What I'm going to do is if I go in here and I grab vertices from this, whoop, you can get all the vertices in the mouth and the eyes and everything like that right from here. And actually, if I just hold down Shift and I double click, it'll grab the little shells. Okay, and I'm kind of leaving this top area out. And I go to the Paint Skin Weights tool, and I've got neck 3 selected, which is that one right there. I can just go ahead and hit flood, and I got the opacity down. If the opacity was at 100%, boop, there, it's all weighted in one blow. Okay, and then maybe I'll switch to smooth. I'll just go and right click and I'll hit the select, and that selects the whole mesh again. And then, oh crap, you bastard. Smooth is the devil. I should have saved after I did the pants. There you go. I'll make another video, and I'm going to pause. Actually, I'll stop right here.